Welcome in the latest episode of the What I Bet podcast on the Straight Outta Vegas AM podcast feed. I'm your host, the real underscore G Warner. Tonight's episode, we're going through the World Cup on Tuesday, July 7th. Also, the Major League Baseball card on Tuesday, July 7th. We were losers on our best bet from the What I Bet best bet portion coming end of show on the Braves blown save in the ninth. Lost in extra innings. Brutal, especially if you had unders the last 2 days in Atlanta. As that was incredible on Sunday, actually, and then even worse on Monday, it feels like. So maybe the Braves are not out of the woods just yet, but we'll get into more of the baseball card in a second. That makes us 3-2 last five, 6-4 last 10, and we'll do our best to try to keep us on a winning streak. So let's get into it. We'll start on this Tuesday, July 7th card with the World Cup, and we had the United States bow out in embarrassing fashion, probably one of the worst goalkeeping mistakes you can imagine on Monday night. But those things will happen when you play MLS goalkeepers in the World Cup, unfortunately. And I think what was a great run for the U.S. seems to have ended in. We'll see if we keep soccer interest, I got to say. Hopefully, all of you stick around because we have plenty of money to be made, especially when good teams are going to be underdogs the rest of this tournament. So, Portugal basically do nothing, and Spain also, as the favorite, do nothing, only to score in stoppage time for my 10th loss in stoppage time this World Cup. So it could be a really, really hot World Cup so far. We're still over 500, but certainly looking to do better on that category as well. We'll start on Tuesday with an early start, 11 a.m. kickoff with Argentina and Egypt. I believe we're doing early starts so they can play earlier coming up in the next week or so. Argentina, they initially opened a 1.5 goal favorite, but a very juiced one at that. It's 1.25 now. You can get a 1.5 out there for a same or even a little bit more juiced price or about even money on plus 1.25. 1.25, simply if you lose by a single goal, you win half your bet. Lose the other half. If you draw or win, you win those bets. If you lose by two, you lose both. So it does give some insurance, certainly on a 1 goal loss, but also win some money on a 1 goal loss. So that does interest me from the Egyptian side. The total has been 2.5 with a lot of juice, kind of moving around a little bit, but generally 2.5 with more juice to under so far. It feels like a pretty high total considering this World Cup. It's not seen a lot of goals, certainly seen a lot of late goals in stoppage time, but I would expect a lot of that to slow as we get later in this tournament. Egypt is a defensive side. They don't have a great offense. Argentina, though, you could almost say the same thing. They do have Lionel Messi, and that's going to make a lot of people bet Argentina, I think, right up until game time, 11 a.m. Central Time on the 7th of July, 12 noon Eastern Time. And for that reason, I'll be waiting to back Egypt, trying to get a 1.5 goal underdog so that they lose by a single goal. We'll win our full bet. Don't hate an even money or plus 101, currently a bet on line of 1.25, but we'll see what happens with that one. Total in this one at 2.5 is very interesting to me. We'll see where that one goes. I imagine probably see some Argentina and over money in just because Messi is playing in the Albi Celeste. We'll move to the 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff, Switzerland and Colombia. Or I guess, sorry, I forgot to get past the two advanced numbers. So I guess I'll do those both at the end. But currently, Colombia, they open a quarter goal favorite, pretty even juice there. We've seen a little bit of money coming on Switzerland, but not anything too remarkable, I don't think, at this point. Total has been 2.25 since onset. We see some money bet on under there. That's certainly a concern that will continue, and we might lose that 2.25. Currently, the two is very, very juiced to over. 2.25, very, very juiced to under. So it looks like we're kind of hanging between that spot. Colombia has not been impressive offensively for decades, it feels like. They've gotten a lot of respect in this tournament. Did win a group against Portugal, but you could argue that was more betting against Portugal than betting on Colombia, possibly. But Colombia did win their group. They were probably here in this competition because they didn't have to play Spain today. Instead, got to play Switzerland. But I do think that there's a good chance that their tournament ends on Tuesday. The Swiss are really talented, have really great players, are a team that I don't want to fade. Honestly, the defense is great, and they have Granit Xhaka, who's one of the best midfielder maestros, talismans, if you will, across Europe. So give me Switzerland. I love that quarter goal underdog, any sort of underdog there, and under 2.25 correlates as well. For the two advanced numbers, let's get to those before we get out to the Major League Baseball portion of the show. We'll start with Argentina minus 685 favorite right now. So $685 to win 100 US is what it will take if you want to bet Argentina to advance. Gigantic number, certainly some value on Egypt if they get to penalty kicks after just surviving against Australia. But that number has been coming down a little bit, actually, a little bit of a surprise. We saw it open at minus 600, so it's increased quite a bit from there. But we saw 700 at one point, so we're now back down to minus 685. Egypt on the other side, plus 515 now. We saw as high as 524. So not that different, but did open 460. 100 wins 460, so that's significant as well. As for the late game, Switzerland and Colombia, we have Switzerland at plus 140, Colombia minus 159. And those numbers are pretty much about the peak, I think, right about there. 140 is the opener on Switzerland. We saw it fall the way down to 135 even, so not very far at all. Back up to plus 138, back up now to 140. Colombia have been minus 160, fallen all the way to minus 155, so not a lot of movement in that one, and will now move to Major League Baseball. We'll have a What I Bet Best Bet coming out of the show, also a promo code to save you some money at pregame.com, so stay tuned for that. We'll start in the first game of a doubleheader with Jacob Misiorowski pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers against the St. Louis Cardinals and Hunter Dobbins. Dobbins at plus 167, underdog, total 7.5, minus 105 to under. Misiorowski, pretty bad in his last start, certainly by his standards against Cincinnati Reds, got outdueled by Chase Burns, and really because he didn't put up much of a fight. Under 7.5, probably biggest interest for me, especially in early game of a doubleheader. You should see the good bullpens available and used, and we'll see what that means for this game on Tuesday at 1:15 Central, 2:15 first pitch. Next, go to the Chicago Cubs and Matthew Boyd on the road, the Baltimore Orioles and Shane Baz. First pitch is being thrown at 6:35 Eastern time. Baz plus 102 home underdog. Totals 9.5, juice very heavily, minus 118 to under. Boyd's got plenty to prove about his long list of injuries over his career. Seems to always show up in the playoffs, but doesn't go too deep in that either. Baz has kind of turned it around after starting off very slowly for Baltimore. We'll see if he can keep that going. Certainly lean to the home underdog in that matchup. We'll next go to the Atlanta Braves and Hurston Waldrop on the road at Pittsburgh Pirates and Paul Skeens. Waldrop plus 149 underdog, totals 8, minus 115 to under. And this is a really tough one. Hard to back Waldrop, hard to back the Braves as the last two nights, just really struggling. Almost winning in a huge come from behind, down 10-3 in the ninth. After giving up a bunch in the top of the ninth. Cookie Carrasco always delivering cookies to the opposing lineups. And then Monday was not good, and now they got to face Paul Skeens. It's been a little bit shaky as of late. Big number here. Could only really lean under, especially because the Braves haven't hit a lot, but then they hit Friday and Saturday, scored a bunch of runs in extra innings or in the ninth inning on Saturday and also on Monday. I don't know. Hard to say where the Braves are right now. Next, we go to New York Yankees. Will Warren at the Tampa Bay Rays and Ian Seymour. Seymour minus 115 favorite. Totals 8 in this one, minus 110 both ways. I'm a little bit surprised that the Rays are a favorite. I would expect the Yankees money to come in, even though the Rays have been outplaying them lately and the season. A lean to under 4.5 first half, also to the under 8. Just that's the nature of the trop. And there's no Aaron Judge. Well, next, go to the Athletics of no city, the Detroit Tigers in Detroit against Tarek Skubal. Skubal minus 187, JT Ginn plus 169. Nice. Totals 8, minus 105 to under. If I could trust the Athletics bullpen, I would lean under here, but I don't. And honestly, I'm still a little concerned with Tarek Skubal against a powerful lineup. Next go to the Seattle Mariners and Brian Wu on the road at the Miami Marlins and Max Meyer. Meyer, a minus 112 home favorite, totals 8, minus 108 to under, minus 112 to over. That's 20 cents. Wu's not been that great. Unfortunately, has not put it all together, especially away from home. Lean to under here, under minus 108. No total for first half, interestingly enough. We'll see if there's some issues with starting pitchers there. But Miami and Max Meyer have been awesome this season. He's been great. And I think we see a low-scoring game, and that certainly caters to under. Next, go to the Houston Astros and Tatsuya Imai on the road to the Washington Nationals and Andrew Alvarez, I believe it is. Alvarez minus 118 favorite. Total is 9, minus 101 on the under, minus 119 to over. So expecting some runs in that one. Expected for the Washington Nationals getting involved. But Imai, he's got some good arm stuff. Has got the ability to miss bats sometimes. It's hard to predict when he will. The Astros should have a full bullpen after not having anyone available on Monday night. And that explained why they were an underdog there. Underdogs again. Not sure I believe in Alvarez, who looked good a little bit last season and then got reverted to me and very quickly and very harshly leaned to the Astros plus 107. Well, next to the Philadelphia Phillies and Zach Wheeler minus 163 road favorite in Cincinnati at Andrew Abbott. Totals 8.5 plus 100 to under. I'm not looking at back Reds and Andrew Abbott at this point. They've got to prove a lot to me, and they've been only going the wrong direction. Next, we the Kansas City Royals on the road at the New York Mets. We got Seth Lugo plus 134 on the road at Kodai Senga. Under is 8, minus 110 both ways. I don't know where the belief in the pitching there is there. If there's anywhere it's on the Seth Lugo side, give me that plus 134. That's certainly got to come down based on how bad Kodai Senga has been this season. Next to the Boston Red Sox, Peyton Toley on the road to the Chicago White Sox and Noah Schultz. Battle of Sox here. I'll pick the Sox to win. I'll lean more to the minus 125 on the road team, the Boston Red Sox. Noah Schultz plus 113 home underdog. Total is 8, even money to the under, but I'm not a road favorite player, and I still don't believe in the White Sox. Next to go to the Cleveland Guardians, Joey Cantillo on the road at the Minnesota Twins and Taj Bradley. Cantillo plus 102, road underdog, totals 8.5, minus 110. Twins have been playing really well. I don't believe in them. Taj Bradley is a great arm, but the Guardians have the better bullpen, and I love backing Joey Cantillo because I just don't agree with what the market thinks about him. Next, go to the Milwaukee Brewers game 2. Robert Gosser on the road at St. Louis and Michael McGreevy. McGreevy plus 127 underdog is enormous. Totals 8.5, minus 110 both ways. I'll lean to the home underdog, and it shouldn't be that high. Next to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Jose Soriano on the road at the Texas Rangers and Jacob deGrom. Or Soriano plus 140 underdog, minus 155 coming back on the Rangers. Total is 7, even money to under right there. And the first 5 total is 4, which is very heavily to under. Let's see if we can blow up an under like we did on the other day, Sunday, I think it was. Friday over, Saturday, no hitting at all whatsoever. And then Sunday, a bunch of really bad defense, big mistakes, and that led to a lot of runs, unfortunately, including some really bad bullpen, I got to say. But I think we see a low-scoring series. The Angels don't have much in the bullpen, but don't have much offense either. Rangers as big favorites at home should take care of business. As we get to the West Coast, let's go to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Zach Gallen on the road at the San Diego Padres and Jesus Brito. Currently Brito minus 125 favorite. Really small, cheap again for Arizona on the road. Plus 113 coming back on Gallen. Totals 8.5, even money both ways. I'm not really sure how much to trust Brito here, but Walker Buehler was really cheap until money came in late on the Padres with no real bullpen available on Monday night. So it's an easy skip for me. I think one more game to go, 2 more games to go. We got the Toronto Blue Jays, Miles on the road at the San Francisco Giants and McDonald. Miles minus 113 favorite. Guess that reflects the Blue Jays being a lot better than the Giants. You could certainly say Blue Jays have not been that impressive so far this season. Totals 7.5 this one, even money to the under. And I'm tempted by the home underdog. Last but not least, Colorado Rockies and Michael Lorenzen plus 227 on the road. Los Angeles Dodgers and Justin Robleski. Totals 9.5, minus 105 to under. This feels really cheap. Can honestly see I feel like a $3 favorite is coming on the Dodgers. I just don't know if it's even worth it to potentially play that for some arbitrage. Maybe just take it and hope the Dodgers don't screw you. To save you some money at pregame.com before we get to the What I Bet Best Bet coming end of show. Let's get on it. Let's go for it. And let's use the promo code HOTDOG12. Well, that was the great promo code that unfortunately expired on the, well, I did have a way to save you some money at pregame.com, but I don't have a new promo code. So unfortunately, on this episode, I might be limited by that because Hot Dog 12, I can see if we can extend it. That's what I'll do. I'll let the people know that I put it out there. So use the promo code HotDog12, save you some money at pregame.com, and try to get you some all access or some way to save some money at pregame.com. Before we get to the What I Bet Best Bet, we are 3-2 last 5, 6-4 last 10. And I think it's as simple as going to one of those home teams in Major League Baseball, and I really think I'm backing the hand that has fed me. I am not going to bite it. I'm playing the Miami Marlins. Max Meyer minus 112 at home is our best bet in this What I Bet Best Bet episode 59. Thanks for all the support. You can find us wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, on Straight Outta Vegas AM, on Twitter, twitter.com/pregame now. You'd find me across all social media platforms at @thereal_G Warner. 3, 2, 1. Hey, this is Real_G Warner. This is the What I Bet Best Bet coming the end of the What I Bet Best Bet show on Straight Outta Vegas AM podcast and the Straight Outta Vegas AM feed. Wherever you get your podcast, check us out, Straight Outta Vegas or on Twitter pregame now. You find me at the real_G Warner across all social media platforms. The What I Bet Best Bet on this episode for July 11th, episode 59. We are 3-2 last 5, 6-4 last 10. And let's go to the Miami Marlins -112 at home. We got Max Meyer, who's been awesome this season. Brian Woo's been really struggling away from home. I think we see a low-scoring game here as well. So I'm probably going to match some of this up with some unders first half 5 and also the full game. But I think I trust Miami, how well they've been playing. Their bullpen's been great. I think you can go toe-to-toe with Seattle. I just don't really believe in Seattle's offense. So I go Miami -112, and that'll do it for this episode of What I Bet.